Were there some subjects lyric-wise that you knew you wanted to get on the records?
Yeah.
Can you name one that really was important for you?
I think that I wanted to get a sense, like, this is not a game, you know, which is a sense of, you know, in England we have these big scandals right now. We have the Barclays scandal, we have the hacking scandal, but it was just, and before that we had the mortgage thing, which came from America, that kind of affected the whole world. And I think that I just had this sense of, like, you know, people are just treating us all like puppets, you know, like we don't have any control, and they're just playing games with our, you know, to them it's like noughts on a computer or numbers on a computer, but those numbers on a computer represent someone's home, someone's life savings. And I just kind of thought, you know, it's not a game, you know, people are really suffering here, and people are in pain, and they're really having a very, very hard time. And so I think that I wanted to get that sense lyrically in a few songs, and that essence into the album. I mean, travelling around and hearing stories, it's just really heartbreaking, hearing the stories that people, and the things and tribulations that people are in. I had a friend, one of my oldest, closest friends, you know, we had this massive struggle for her to keep her house because she got behind with a mortgage payment, like 2 payments. And, you know, their attitude was like, we are taking your house. And there was no kind of like working with her to try and help her. It was just like, oh, we're going to take your house, you know, just like bam, because we want your house, because we want the money. So, and that's just one example of the people around me that were really suffering. So I definitely wanted to have that, not finger wagging, but that sense of, like, you know, the atmosphere of the world right now, and the atmosphere that we're writing songs in.
Is this atmosphere of the world currently now? Is it maybe more, even I think more urgent now to actually for a band like you to write songs now maybe than, or has there always been something?
There's always been something, but the focus shifts, doesn't it? At the moment, the world is totally engrossed in financial matters. You know, a few years back it was like political scandals. You know, a few years before that it was war. You know, a few years before that it was, you know, the poll tax riots, things like that. It just, there's always something which is a main focus in the world, and all the other things are going on as well, but there's always a main focus. So there's always something that's affecting us as a band, something to write about. And also we're not just politically motivated, there's a lot of social politics about all the way that people are and we are and our relationships around us, which affect us all the time. So really, it's like you could have a different conversation today about something that's really serious that concerns you, to next week it could be a completely different conversation. And that's like songwriting. You could write a new song next week that means something about what's happening then as well as now. Do
you think your records, or you achieve when you look maybe back on your catalogue now, that it captures a certain time frame?
Yeah, I do think that. I think that there's also a timelessness that is absolutely captured. I mean, songs like Yes, It's Fucking Political, that is so relevant now to me personally, you know. So yes, it's fucking political, everything's political, you know. I think that's a very relevant lyric, and I think that that's our thing that we like to do, is we don't like it to make, you know, we express ourselves and we make these observations in our songs, and, you know, our songs that are socially conscious or political, you know. But I think there is a timelessness to them that we want to keep, you know. We don't want our songs to date.
I think that the timelessness comes in your lyrics, to the fact that they're based a lot on human nature. So even if they're political and they're socially political, you know, they are traits of human, traits of human nature, which, to be honest, is timeless, because right back from, you know, medieval times, to now, you know, things have happened, you know, money lending, deceit, you know, political stuff, all these things happen from the beginning of time, and it's still there.
I think the important thing is that we express ourselves, we talk about it from our point of view. We have full knowledge about how it happens to us. You know, I don't know how you're going to experience it, because I'm not you, but I know how I experience the things that are happening in the world, and that's how we express ourselves, you know, from a very personal, political, not a party political, not finger wagging, not telling people what they shouldn't do, just kind of like personal observations on what's happening around the world.
Musically, you had, of course, a big hiatus. Were all musical ideas actually fresh, or were there still maybe some things or
no? They were
parts
all
brand new ideas.
They were all brand new, actually. I mean, that was the thing that we just, you know, when we first got in the room together, rather than playing some old things, it was like, well, we can play old things anytime, we know those, let's start brand new. And we would create in the room rather than go, oh, I had all these things hanging around, you know. So
yeah, because you know, for now, if you've had an idea hanging around, usually there's a reason why it's still hanging around.
And to be honest, I think we'd used them all up. We'd used all our ideas in all the musical projects we were doing right until then.
I think I have all of my old musical ideas in my head, and then they just come back as new regurgitated ideas with different flavours on them. But you know, old tracks are just kind of like, you know, it's like B-sides. You know, the band always want to do B-sides, and I always think, well, what's the point of putting a bunch of songs out there that are not quite as good as your album songs?
So there's no hidden vault where there's all kind of unreleased.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, there are. I have to be honest. There are lots of unreleased songs and lots of unreleased ideas.
We've got tons and tons of songs that we wrote that didn't get there.
But they're not that good. You know, we went in to record 16 songs. One song didn't even get recorded, and we have 3 other songs that got recorded that I'm going to use for other stuff. They're like our B-sides, but for me, they're the first time we've done 3 amazing B-sides because we went for gold. We went to make them album songs.